Okay, for today meeting, we will learn about web hosting. It is additional material in our course, and actually it just little. Is you don't need many time to finish this week assignment. Okay, so for today topic, the first is what is web hosting, and the second is how to hosting dynamic website, and the third is how to hosting the static website. So the aim for today course is to first understand the web hosting concept, and I think all of you already understand what is hosting of the website. And the second is know the implementation of hosting a web. Okay, so what is web hosting? I think all of you already understand about this. Web hosting is the process of renting or buying space to host a website on World Wide Web or www. So web content such as HTML, CSS, and image is placed on the server for online viewing. Like as you know, for access the web file like PHP, like HTML, we cannot directly open it in the browser, but we need to access it with the URL. So actually, you already learned about web hosting in XMPP or in Apache Web Server before, but for Apache Web Server, it's a local this is local web hosting. So our file will be in our computer and other people cannot access our website. But in this week, we learn to put it in the cloud or put it in the server, real server, so everyone can access our website, and it's also need internet to connect to your website. So hosting provider, we call it as hosting provider. Hosting provider is someone or uh, or organization that provide hosting for people who have best website. Hosting provider allocates space for the website on the server to store its file. Every website we ever visit is hosted on the server. So actually all of the website that we have visit, the file is put in the somewhere in the server, and to access it, we need to know the URL of the web server. Okay, maybe you can imagine it in your XMPP htdoc. You have many folder or you have htdoc folder to open the web page. So hosting is like that. So you put something in the htdoc or you put your file like the HTML, CSS, PHP, and maybe image to htdoc. Actually it's the same for the concept, just different place, not in your local but in the server in the cloud or maybe in the computer. Usually like in our university in Polynema, maybe you have access our e-learning or www.polynema.ac.id. That website actually put in the computer. So our university have a room, and that room is full of the computer. So every computer there is a server. In every server there are many files that put in there. So the file in the website form can access for outside server. So this is you can read it here. A server usually is a computer, and this computer connect other web user to a site from anywhere in the world. But for today, nowadays, we don't need a computer for a website because there's application like a cloud server. So in one computer, we can make virtual server and divide one computer into many virtual server. So one computer can have many websites, maybe like that. The web hosting service provider, they must be has server, connectivity, and services related to web hosting. Okay, so how web hosting work? So web hosting is done by uploading the file that make up the website from local computer to a web server. You can imagine it like you copy your file into htdoc in your XMPP folder in your C, usually in local DC. It's like that, but we not just copy it, but we upload the file. And there are four different web hosting. It's depend on the allocation and also usually the uh, faster the speed of the connectivity. So the most simple, and maybe you can say it I'm sorry, the cheaper. The cheaper is the share hosting. So when we have share hosting, a website is hosted on the same server as any other website. Most of the web hosting companies provide share hosting before it's cheaper and easier. So for one server, it divided by many websites, or maybe you can say one folder, usually one folder. If you can divide it with many websites. Maybe you ever hear about subdomain. This is like subdomain. So inside the domain there is a subdomain. This is for share hosting. And one level above is VPS, or virtual private server. VPS is one level above share hosting. It's used for medium-sized business. So relatively, the business that using VPS is bigger than share hosting. With a VPS, users are isolated from each other, so we cannot see another web page of someone in our virtual private server, because one server but is virtual, it's just for us. A virtual server appears to each user as a dedicated server, even though it's actually server multiple websites. So for share hosting, maybe it's the speed is slow because one virtual server is divided again with many hosting. But for virtual private server, is one server is for it's only, although actually it can be one computer but divide with the many virtual server. Okay, the third is dedicated server. Dedicated server provide the entire server for rent, so it must be faster than the second earlier, because you can imagine one computer for one website. So that's one computer. You can say that the one who connect to that computer, it must be want to connect to that website. So we don't need to divide it to any other website. That's why dedicated server is maybe the best for the web hosting, because it's give you many allocation disks and also uh, faster speed. And the fourth is cloud hosting. Actually, nowadays all of the web hosting usually using cloud hosting. So maybe it's not look like a computer like that, but it's the architecture is a cloud computing. This type of hosting operates on many interconnected web servers that provide an affordable, scalable, and reliable web infrastructure. Cloud hosting plans typically offer unmeasured and reliable bandwidth, as well as unlimited amount of disk space for unlimited domain, which explain why so many big business are turning into the cloud. So for the third before, usually it has one computer, and what the computer is divided by many websites or one website. But for cloud, we can see the computer, but it's just architecture. Like maybe you can say it like Google, or maybe the one that in the hot topic right now is Amazon Web Server, something like that, that cloud services. Okay, any question for about web hosting? It is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next, we just have that a little bit explanation in today meeting. So next, I will explain about GitHub page. So we have many alternative for hosting our web page, but the one who most simple, this is GitHub page. Maybe one of you ever using GitHub? Anyone? Have you ever used GitHub? No, not yet.
No, ma'am. Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet. So actually, GitHub is one of the most popular website for developer or for us in the IT field, because with GitHub we can upload our project, and maybe you can use it as portfolio. I don't know in Philippines, but in Indonesia, like the student, when they are uh, graduate from school, usually the jobs usually when they apply for a job, they can show their portfolio using GitHub. That's why GitHub in Indonesia right now is one of most popular for people in IT field, I think. So basically, GitHub is like, maybe you can say it like Google Drive. It for upload the file, it for saving the file, but uh, specifically it's for project, or it's for code. Okay, so you can upload many code, and usually GitHub can detect it your code is in PHP or in HTML, or maybe you have in the Python and other programming language. So GitHub can detect that. That's why it's good for upload our project or our code. So the main function of the GitHub, actually it's for version control system or VCS. There are two type of GitHub. Don't get confused. So there are desktop type that you must install in your computer. That's called with Git without hub, just Git. So Git is the application that you must install in the computer. When we have Git in our computer, we can give the version control system. What is version control system? For example, you have a project. For example, you have final project. Today you create a project and then maybe you add the index page and maybe you add the styling with CSS. And for tomorrow, yes, in the next day, you want to add for login and you add some code in your project, right? And maybe you will also add the connection and many other query and many other. After that, you also can save the change into your Git. So I can see what I do today, what I do yesterday, and how many code that I have changed. When we delete the file or we add the file, the Git also can detect it. So it's easier for the developer to know how many changes that they already do, and we can also restore the change. So that's why Git is one of the best application for developer. And the I said before is the desktop version. The desktop version is the Git. And when we want to upload it to the cloud or we want to upload it to internet, there are a version named GitHub. So GitHub is the version in the website form or in the internet. So when we have change in our computer, we can also save that kind of change in the cloud or in the internet using GitHub. So when I say Git and GitHub, actually the two of them is like a couple, or it's depend one and each other. Okay, so this for repository to upload your project and also to know the change or the version of your code. Okay, that's about the GitHub. So actually, GitHub also uh, you can use it for hosting. But for the GitHub, the one that you can host just for the static web page. So it can be any PHP or uh, something that have connection with the database. If you want to upload it, it's okay to upload it in the GitHub. But when you want to open it, like as your web hosting, it can work. So it just can work as web hosting when your file is just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, maybe I will explain later about this in job sheet. And the second, we will also learn about the hosting dynamic web. So dynamic is something that we can change, right? We are using database here and we can input something, we can log in, register, log out, and many other in dynamic web. So in dynamic web, usually we have PHP file. And we can also try to hosting this, but not with GitHub like we have talked before, but it's many website provide free hosting. Okay, so we can host our website in free hosting provider that I will give you explanation or example later. But when we are hosting the dynamic web page, we need to choose the domain name first. After that, we must upload file. So all of our file, we need also upload it in the control panel. Usually you can say the control panel of that hosting provider. After that, we need also make a database and we can also need to change the connection or the configuration to connect between our web page and the hosting provider. Okay, so that's all about today lesson. After that, let's try to make a GitHub page and hosting dynamic web in free hosting provider. So the first that you must do is you must make an account into github.com. So GitHub, like I said before, is the desktop version of Git. This is desktop version to upload your file, and you must sign in first or sign up if you still don't have account. If you already have account, you can log in or sign in to your GitHub. Actually, I have many project here. It's not all of my project. So in GitHub, we can also collaborate with other user. For example, maybe you can see my screen here. Actually, it's not me because this one of my student, but she can share her project with me, and I also add something to her project. And like I said before, it can detect your code. For example, she is using code igniter framework. Maybe one of you have heard about code igniter. So when we are using this, GitHub automatically will know what the framework that we use, and you can also hear there are 71% of PHP. I'm sorry, HTML. There are also PHP, JavaScript, CSS, and many other. So it can detect your code in your project. For example, I use it for make a Laravel project. Laravel is also one of the framework in PHP. Like this, it also can open about Laravel without I say to the GitHub that my code is in Laravel, and it also gives the language like this: PHP, Blade, Shell, and many others like this. So you can use it for many projects. Usually, I have another, but I don't know why I can open it here. So you need to make your file public in order I can detect your file. I can open your file. I'm sorry, I will answer the phone first. Okay, so after that, you need to download Git desktop. You have download it, right? And you also have installed it. Hello?
Not yet, ma'am.
Oh, not yet. Okay, maybe after that, I will wait for you to download and install. Actually, it's not that big of file, so you can download it. I think you don't need many time to download it. And this is the appearance of the Git desktop. It's like terminal, just white and black like this. When you see here, there is a tool that already my name here, but maybe when you first install, it won't be showing like that. Why? Because you still not logged in to your account. So how to log in? To log in, you can run this script, or you can log it and copy it, and then you can paste in here. for paste, okay, like this. But don't forget to change this is with your username. For example, in my GitHub, my profile, my username is this Wilda is. So you must make it like this with your username and then enter. I want maybe if I enter it, it won't do anything. And after that, you can copy the second comment and paste it also. And you can change here your email like this. Okay, so you can run it, and maybe it will be different with my screen and your screen, because my screen I already logged in before. Okay, so this is for login. When you log in, your file in the computer will be updated or will be connected to your GitHub account. Okay, so this after this, you can after this you can make a repository. So folder in the GitHub, we call it as repository. You can make a new repository here for today meeting, because we want to make the we want to make static web page for our GitHub. So you can you must make your name of the project is same with your username. So like this, username.github.io. For example, if my username is Wilda is, so I must make like this, Wilda is .github.io. It already exists because I have made it before. But for you, when you still don't have any repository, it will be work. And please make it public so I can see your file. And then after that, you can add repository there. You can click this button. Okay, after this, you must choose what the file that you want to upload to your repository or in your GitHub page. The one that you must remember, GitHub page just can process the file in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript without HTML. So I asked you to upload your file from the last week or from the weeks 14. Okay, understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you must upload for the week 14, and especially I asked you to make a project, right? Page to tell about your hobby, or what do you like, something that do you like. So the one that you upload is that project. Okay, for example, I want to upload the week 14 in this this repo. So to upload it, you must make some comment here. You right click in the folder that you want, that you desired. After that, you choose git bash here. Okay, so it will show like this. After that, please run this one by one. So not all of them, but one by one. The first is git init, and then you continue with git add min a, and then the next line, and don't forget for here, for username and username.github.io, I'm sorry, you using this, the owner is your name or your username, and the repository is your username.github.io. That's a must. Okay, after that you do this. Git push mean you, git push mean you origin mean, and then it must be success. If the success, you can see your project in your GitHub like this. So maybe there are index, CSS, CSN, and many other. So don't forget to, for this uh, GitHub page, you must have one file with the name index.html to know that this page is the first page that the GitHub will open. Okay, don't forget to have one index.html or .php, but because we won't process PHP file, so you must have index.html. So that's all. After that, you can open your file. Actually, in this project, I just using template for the Bootstrap. So to open it, this is my username and .github and then .io. If I open it, it will show the project that I have uploaded before like this. It's just in the HTML and CSS and JavaScript uh, without PHP. Okay, any question? So for hosting in the dynamic web page, we will using free hosting provider. So you don't need to pay anything to the provider. You can use it freely, but usually it has a limited time. Usually it's in 1 year, and for the disk or space that they provide is also limited. So you can use many file or you can upload many file with the big size if you are using free web hosting. The disadvantage too is also maybe it can be a bit slower to access it. So if you want to make your website is a business web page that many people can access it, if many people access it the same time, it can be appear slower. So that's about the free website provider. Okay, so in today practice, we will using infinityfree.net. You can open it. Okay, here, infinityfree.net like this, and this is free, so you can sign up here if you still doesn't have account in here. But if you already have, you can sign in, and you must using your email address, active email address, because your activation or verification will be sent to your email address. I already made one. And then you can sign into here. Oh, I'm sorry. Why? Okay, so it will be like this. If you are new to this website, there must be no account here. So inside the account, you can make another account. So one account inside here can make one web hosting. Okay, so you can have until 3 active accounts to make a web page or your website hosted in the Infinity 3. I already make one, and if you still don't have one, you can create a new hosting account. And for this practice, I ask you to upload the week 12, I think, to week 12 project, where you must make insert data, edit data, delete, and many other. So here we will upload the file that have a connection to database. Okay, so you can add the subdomain here. Okay, because we have free, we can add the subdomain, and it also there are custom. But if you have custom domain, usually you must pay. Maybe I think you must pay something here, or no. And for the subdomain, I use domain subdomain. I choose rf.gd. You can also choose another. So if you want to open your web page, it can be like this. Course web polynema, for example, .freecluster.eu. It's you can choose by yourself, but for custom in the behind, you can add maybe .com or .ph, maybe, for example. It's up to you, but I don't know about the customs. I never tried it before, but maybe you can try it and to know it's still free or not. Okay, so this is uh the first, you need to add subdomain, and you can continue with a search domain like this. And then if uh if it success, it will showing something like this: view in client era and open control panel. And then you can open control panel. Okay, so until here, any question? Okay, maybe I will open my, so it will be like this, and you can open control panel. So this is our control panel. The control panel is used like the control panel in your computer. It's used for manage many things in your web page. For example, about your account setting, if you want to upgrade your account, or it is about the file when you will upload the file here, and also the database. Also the database, it has many kind of option. We can add MySQL database, or we can remote MySQL, or we can also choose PostgreSQL database. But in our case, we still using MySQL because this is the one that we have learned before. And then there are also about the domain, email, metrics, security, and many other here. Okay. The first, because we want to make a dynamic web page, we must using the database, right? So we will continue to make a database first. So you can choose MySQL database here, and you can make then you can make database. So for example, I make a WebDB here. If I make it your database name not just WebDB, but it's APIZ underscore blah 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 here, and followed by web underscore DB. So the name of your database is combined between the name that you want and also the custom name that given by Infinity Free. Okay, until here, you still can hear my voice clearly. Okay. Next, so if you have at the database, it will appear like this, and there are admin button, so you can click the admin button. So this is like the usual. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not okay. Here it's not directly like this, but you need to add some database into your file, because I already add my database, so it will be appear like this. But if you still haven't add any database, maybe it will be empty. So you need to add your database first, because we already make a database before in our week 12, in our course in week 12. So we want to make a new, we want to make it from scratch, but we just will reuse the file or the database that we have before. So you can export your database from the project that you have. Okay, I'm sorry. And then you can import later. Oh, why it's so slow? You can import it here. Uh, are you already know how to export database? I think you already know, right? Or anyone still confused how to export the database? Understand how to export?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so maybe I will give you an example. So this is although it has the similar display, but this display is from our web hosting, so you can know the IP address here. But for this is our local file. So this is from XMPP file. You can see here, this is localhost PHP my admin. This is our file that we have in our computer. So before we already have this database, WebDB. So we want to export this WebDB first. To export it, you can click this WebDB from the list in the left. After that, you can choose export the menu in the above. You choose export. Okay, it may be a little bit slow. And you can choose the one above, quick, because if we choose custom, we need to doing some option here. We need to check it again. But for default, or if you don't want something particular, you can choose the quick option. After that, you choose it in the SQL format like this. The default is SQL format. After that, put go, click go. Okay. Okay, so it's like download the data or download the file. So you can see your file will be like this. This is actually from your database in the PHP My Admin. Okay, after that, you can open your tab in the MySQL from here, admin, and then you import. not export but import. From the phpMyAdmin you are doing export, but in the phpMyAdmin of your web hosting you choose import and you choose the file before webdb. Okay, after that you can click go. So it's just simply like that. After it success, you can see to a table that you already have in here. It will be similar with that you have in your web hosting. And if you click the table, it also have the same data there. So you don't need to make it from scratch. It can be similar or it can be exactly same with using export and import from your database. Okay, until here, any question? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have already have the database, similar database with we have in the computer. After that, we can back. Okay, we can back. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, you can back here, and maybe you can click this menu here, and you will back to your cPanel or control panel. And then we already have a database, but we still haven't uploaded the file. So we need to upload the file. To upload the file, you choose the file tab here, and then you choose the option online file manager. So this is like to upload in the Google Drive or something like that. But the one that you upload will be hosted in the infinity free. Okay, then you will see something like this. There htdocs folder, so it's like the one that you have in the xmpp htdoc. You can put something here, right? And then you have htxls, and this is like just like the information. So do not upload file here. Why we not upload file here? Because if you upload file here, your file can be read by the web hosting, like you have before in the xmpp2. You cannot put your file in xmpp folder only, but you must put it in the htdoc folder. So it is also similar. You open htdoc folder first, and then you can upload it. How to upload it? You can see the menu in the below, and then choose the most left here. So the most left is the upload, and you can choose the upload file, and you can open from the file week 12. You can choose many file like this. Okay, so after that your file will upload into the web hosting, and it will be display like this. Okay, any question until here? Clear? So it will be like this. Okay, and then the one room what that most important is, because we have the file and we have the MySQL, we want to connect our file with MySQL, right? But the connection that we have before, it's like this. Maybe you still remember it's in the My Connection file. When you open it, the hostname still localhost, username is root, password like this, and the database like this. This is the configuration of MySQL in our computer. But configuration in the web hosting would be different. with my computer, because the name, the password, and anything will be configured by the web hosting provider. So how to change it? You can open the My Connection file, and then you will choose the edit button. Actually, I already edit it, and you can edit hostname, username, password, database here. Okay, according to your account. So to know what account, you can open in the client area. Okay, maybe I will repeat it. You can see in the menu in the above, it's your username. You click it and you choose client area, and then you will see your account, and you click it here. When you click it there, you can see your account detail, and you will see my SQL detail. And then you can copy it, username like this, into here, into username, and for host name you can, so don't getting wrong, you must carefully to look at the host name, username, password, and the database. The password will be appear like this, but you can show and hide. So you can show it and you can copy it also. And the database name will be like this. And the XXX you can using your database name. For example, before I using web_db for my database name. So here I write it like this and follow by web_db. I'm sorry. If you have finished it, you can save with clicking the save button in the right below. Okay, so that's how to configure your connection. After that, maybe if you see here, you don't have index page, but index page is the one requirement of the web hosting. So one of this file you must make it the index. That's why for here, home, home CRUD, I will change it and make it index. And then you can doing in here. For example, you click and then you doing rename. So one of this file here is index. Okay. If you have finished, then it's also the finish for your web page, and you can access it. You can open it in the subdomain in your account configuration, and you can click it. So it will be appear like this, like that you already finish in the 12 week, like this. And it's also already connect with the database. Okay, if I open the can, it will be adding something here, so it's similar. And if you open again, okay, the sorry, file manager. Okay, I'm sorry, where I can open the account. Oh, on control panel. You can also look the data in your PHP My Admin like this, and the data would be add. Okay, so it will be like this. Okay, any question?